Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 13th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect, but please stay with me because then I will dive deep and in forensic detail give you the inside track for your particular zodiac sign. This week begins with Mercury moving from the sign of Sagittarius into the earth sign of Capricorn. Now Mercury is very effective in Capricorn, particularly around business matters, but is replaced in the sign of Sagittarius by Mars. Now Mars governs the second decan of Sagittarius, so it's very much at home in this sign. Sagittarius energy is very much to do with being adventurous and pioneering and buccaneering, and the Sun stays in the sign of Sagittarius, and Mercury and Mars are going to be in a semi-sextile this week, which is very enabling, so that's something to really appreciate. I should say that Mercury joins up with Venus and Pluto in Capricorn, so if there are things that we need to grapple with of a more material nature, or it is around a relationship situation where we're looking to get some greater clarity about just how steadfast it is or not, the discussions that can follow from Mercury in that arena, along with Venus and Pluto, can be very helpful. But of course, due to COVID regulations, it's not so easy to think about widening our horizons in a more physical way with the arrival of Mars in Sagittarius. But the Sun this week forges an amazing link to Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, so there's a receptivity here. And this angle, the sextile between the Sun and Jupiter, is probably one of the most fortunate ones that can be struck in astrology. So if there is something around a group activity, a wider principle that you're really interested in, that you can come together with people, even if that's not physically possible, perhaps through the internet, the uplifting energy of the Sun and Jupiter really can be something we can all appreciate this week. And for some lucky people, depending on their nativities, their natal charts, this could bring about a real stroke of giant fortune. Now this is a week, of course, when we do have a full moon, and this full moon occurs in the sign of Gemini, which is very fleet-footed, ruled by Mercury, but it's forging a really uplifting link with Jupiter too. So there's a lot to be excited about this week, but it has to be said that Venus does go into retrograde as the week draws to a close, which goes on through to the 29th of January. But there's a lovely link between Uranus and Mercury as the week draws to a close. So if we are thinking about trying to make the most of our resources, an imaginative idea, thinking about something to do with technology that provides a service to others and maybe earns an income to us, can also be something that inspires. So in general, a really sparkling week. But if you're new to my channel, I would be honoured if you'd subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. And if you'd like to order your year 2022 personal forecast, you can do that by clicking on the link beneath this video. You can get a character analysis as well, 30% off, the rest of this year free, or if you order earlier in January, you can get the full 12 months from the point of that order. Gain searing insights into how your personal astrology is evolving in relation to the planets moving in the sky above us. But stay with me for that detailed forecast next. Hello Aquarius and welcome to your weekly horoscope for week commencing the 13th of December. Now because Jupiter, the planet of growth, the planet of optimism, the planet in traditional astrology of good fortune, is in your sign and forging an amazing link to the Sun this week, something can come to pass which really is absolutely wonderful. Now Jupiter is an energy that we have to make work for us. We can't be passive. So when Jupiter goes through a zodiac sign, as it's in yours at the present time, through to about the last 3 days of this year, you will read and see other information which tells you that everything in your celestial garden is going to come up smelling of roses. And it can, but we have to put the effort in. So the sun's in the part of your horoscope to do with your future, your connections with others, your higher principles. And Mars joins this area at the very start of this week, which is terrific. Mars has gone through a very assertive phase for you, very helpfully, over the last 6 weeks. Now it's giving you a bit more permission to play, to connect to others. And your sign is the sign of friendship. So the mutual receptivity between the sun in the 11th house, which is very Aquarian, and the ruler of that sign, Jupiter in your sign, is really helpful. So if you put the effort in, you can get the rewards. So maybe it's about bringing to the fore, some of your core principles. You have a strong passion for those who are less fortunate, very often, for the community, for helping those who may be more frail and need support, like a neighbour, dropping off some shopping or just keeping an eye on them, phoning up someone who may be on their own. These kind of acts of kindness really, really can be wonderful at this time. But equally, if you're involved in some kind of syndicate, you never know. Somebody always wins, don't they? Maybe it's going to be you. And I wouldn't do anything that you can't afford in terms of risk-taking. Jupiter and the Sun can give us a real sense of confidence, and Mars extra boldness. But generally speaking, I think your popularity is going to skyrocket. But there is a bit of a caveat here, because Mercury, the planet of communication, actually dives deep into a more psychological part of your scope. And of course, Venus and Pluto are there. Venus is going to go retrograde at the end of this week. So as much as your popularity can skyrocket, what's going to be really important to you is not the quantity, it's the quality of your associations. But some of those associations you can really celebrate. And it may be those people who over the last few years, as Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter have all tucked up in your 12th house, have been the solid citizens who've really stood firmly behind you. They're the people that you're going to be wanting to appreciate, celebrate the season with. If there are some more fair weather friends in your situation, just be a little bit careful of being over generous to the wrong people. But as the week draws to a close, the full moon, which occurs in the sign of Gemini, your sister air sign, is linking brilliantly to Jupiter in your sign. So this can be one of the most uplifting lunations of the whole year, I feel. Maybe you are going to have to be quite cute about how you keep people in the picture, those people that you may say, oh, I can't quite meet up this week. There may be a little bit that's needed, but also with Mercury meeting your modern ruler in a fantastic trine as the week draws to a close, a conversation that's unexpected could absolutely thrill you, and it could be linked to a family member.